Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a Bishop. It's the Tier 5 British SPG and we're located on the northwest spawn of Swamp, and this is a replay from 2016 and the name of the commander is General Disturbance. Yes, it's one of my replays back from August, I believe, 2016 on the old Swamp map. It's quite a fun battle, this one. Now, the Bishop is based on the chassis of a Valentine tank, and that becomes pretty obvious when you look about it. It's just got a shielding or casement around the gun, which is a 4.5 inch howitzer, and that is a weak point actually, that housing. But so is the corrugated shields at the back of the tank over the engine. But I'm headed off down to get closer to the enemy, because the one problem with the Bishop is it's got a very short range, and I've gone into the bushes and I'm starting to aim at the enemy. Now, waiting for enemy tanks to turn up. A couple of our heavies have gone south, the T1 heavy and an M6, and I've got an SU-100 for company, but no enemy in sight, so I'm going to have to get closer still. So I'm headed across the water, going to try and get over to the other land on the west side. Now, I did mention this replay quite often to people concerning the ability of a little SPG to take on heavy tanks. And, yep, so I think you will be quite surprised at what happens in this battle. Well, the enemy's been spotted, and I've gone back to the aim, and I'm looking for the enemy, but unfortunately they're just out of range. But that T-67's coming into range now. I fire around at him, and it misses. Now, this is pre-9.18, remember, so Arty has more power, but is slightly less accurate. T1 heavy, round out. And it wings him for 82 hit points. I'm still aiming at T1, indicating him as my target. I'm loaded. Round out. And it lands just in front of him. Right, I've got a Churchill 7 moving across my field of view. I'm aiming at him, indicating him as my target. Round out. And I get a hit. Direct hit, 78 hit points. It tracks him. I'm going to reload before he shoots. Before he moves off. No, he has moved off, but I get another hit, and this time round I wipe him out. 460 hit points on a heavy with a tiny little Arty. Right, we've got an AMX CLC. He stopped after destroying our heavy, and I fire around in. Got a direct hit. And this was back when you could actually talk to your enemy, and the enemy actually talked back and said, "Ha ha." I fire another round in, and this time he's gone. I've killed him. Okay, we've got a Panzer Sebstvar Lafetta, the Death Toaster. Fire around at him and wipe him out with one shot. 142 hit points. Skoda T40. That's the premium medium tank. Just hit our T28. Fire around at him, and I get a big hit. 223. And he goes in to try and attack our T28. I'm lining him up for another kill, another shot. He's killed our T28. Round out. And I get a hit into him, but it doesn't slow him down. Got a T-67 aiming at him, but he's moving, getting closer to me. Oh, I just took a hit from the enemy. Fired a round in. So I've taken damage. And it was the enemy Arty, I think, who hit me. So I pulled back into the water just for cover. Now there's an enemy heavy nearby, a T1 heavy. There's the T-67. He's wiped out by our Death Toaster. Well, actually, no, it was our Grasshopper who did it. And the Skoda's come up, and he takes out our Grasshopper. But the Matilda has just killed their enemy Bishop. And here's their Skoda, and I put a round into him. and he's killed immediately afterwards by the SU-100. And that's the enemy heavy, the T-100, T-heavy, bro. He fires another round into me, and he's taken out my gunner. But I'm sitting behind this rock, and he goes back into cover. I fire a round at him, shotgun, and blow him away. Still missing my gunner. I've reloaded, and no other enemies in sight for the moment. So the enemy's still got a Stug 3G and 2 Arty, and there's the Stug. He's over on the other side. I still haven't put my gunner back in, unfortunately. I didn't realise he was out taking aim at the Stug, but I can't get a shot on him. But the Matilda kills him. It's the Matilda Black Prince. Right, there's only 2 RT left on the enemy team. An SU-122A and the AMX-13F3. So I decide I'm going to go to the enemy cap and start the capping process. I put my gunner back in. This was back in the day when you didn't have a repair kit cooldown. If you use your repair kit or your first aid, it was gone. Right, gradually moving because based on the Valentine chassis, it's a very slow RT, the Bishop, very slow indeed. And I'm using those buildings for cover as I move past. There's the enemy Bishop. Go around the back of the building. Oh, there's the SU-122, and he's moving towards us. Auto aim and wipe him out with one shot. He was moving at the time, so it was a pretty incredible shot, really. So there's only 1 enemy remaining. I've got 5 kills. And I say in chat, on the move, I got him. On the move. That was a pretty amazing shot, considering he was on the move and it was an auto aim. I think really only the Bishop would be capable of doing that at such short range so quickly. Well, the Matilda's going through the middle of the map, and I've got the Hummel for company. Gradually approaching the enemy cap. Now it's actually quite amusing that the Bishop is tier 5 in the British SPG tech tree. But oh! The enemy's capping! That is the AMX-13F3. He's capping at the other end. He managed to make his way all to the cap undetected. But it looks like we're going to get to the enemy cap very shortly. Now I was saying that the Bishop is actually the tier 5 British SPG, but in reality it was the Sexton tank, the Sexton SPG, which replaced the Bishop. But the Sexton is tier 3 in the game, when it should really be the tier 5 Arty, and the Bishop should be the tier 3 Arty. That's a bit of fun fact for you. Okay, so the enemy's got only 47 seconds left before he's capped out. The Matilda's on his way back. The Hummel's on his way back. I'm completely out of range. The AMX-13F3 could hit me from the cap, but I can't possibly hit him. Now, the Hummel's pre-aiming at the cap. The moment the Matilda spots him, they'll get a reset. He's got 22 seconds left to cap out. Matilda's getting closer to our cap all the time. And they've got the reset. And now he can't possibly win. And they've killed him. It was the Matilda who got him in the end. So that's game over. So, end of battle stats. And it's an ace tanker for general disturbance in the Bishop. And this was back in August 2016. I got a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. I got 9. A fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. I got 5. And I got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the battle. And I think the most surprised customer in that battle was the T1 Heavy, who came around the corner and got smacked right in the face by an Arty and wiped out. The Churchill 7 as well must have been a bit puzzled as to why he lost 464 hit points off just 2 shots. But unfortunately for him, he was side on to a very powerful Arty at short range. So let's have a look at team score. Highest damage, 1,650 hit points. The next highest score was the Matilda. He managed 1,468. Then came the Skoda T40 on the enemy team, 1,131. When it came to kills, again, I was top with 5 kills. Then came the Matilda Black Prince with 3 kills. And the AMX CLC managed to get 3 kills as well. And when it came to base XP, again, I was top of the tree with 1,003. The Matilda Black Prince had 834 and the KV1 507. I fired 14 rounds during that battle. I got 10 direct hits, 9 penetration, 1 splash, damage of 1,650 hit points, of which 876 were at more than 300 meters. I received 2 hits from the enemy. 2 of them were penetrations, and I also received 2 hits as a result of splash damage. I spotted 2 enemy vehicles, damaged 6 of the enemy, killed 5 of them, and did damage assistance of 486 hit points. There was no stun assistance back then. I got 57 capture points in the cap, and on a premium account I earned 38,423 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 33,523 credits. I received 1,505 XP, and there was no multipliers, so that's all I took away. So I hope you enjoyed that battle. It just goes to show, you see, just because you've got a tiny little Arty doesn't mean you can't take on heavy tanks face to face. I took on that T1 Heavy and I gave him a right seeing to. When he poked his head round that corner, he lost 206 hit points in just 1 shot. But that was back when Arty was particularly powerful. And it's almost as powerful today, I can tell you. So if you give it a shot, I think you'll enjoy it. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.